here. I mean, you know what? Next time I go to a gym, I will take photos, and you guys can see how intense my back muscles are from all of the swimming I've done. It's why I don't like flex my, well, I mean, now it looks great because it's all painted, but I get kind of self-conscious because when I start working out, I get yoked like that. And so I'm a very small person, and I don't like the look of muscles on women, or at least me. Some women, I can pull it off. I feel like I look very masculine, and I don't like looking masculine. I like looking feminine. So yeah, it is what it is. I think Drug went to Mexico. Okay, here's the thing. That motherfucker. I'm gonna tell you guys something. You guys, I want you all to give Drunk shit. Go, all of you. Next time Drunk is live, or next time you see a video from him, leave him a comment, because here's what happened. He was supposed to go to Mexico. I was supposed to pick, and then he was supposed to fly into San Diego. After Mexico, I was supposed to pick him up, and I was supposed to take him to Disney and show him Disney. Instead, me and Peaches are in San Diego. I posted pictures that I'm in San Diego. Here's this. Me and Peaches are at the Midway ship going and doing the tour there. Greg messages me, hey, you're in San Diego? I'm in San Diego too. And I was like, oh, cool. Why didn't you let me know? Because we were supposed to do this thing. We were to Disneyland, right? And he's just like, oh, I came back early because they were worried about the borders and all that stuff. I was like, oh, okay. Well, do you still need me to come and get you? You know? And he's like, no, I'm good. And I was like, oh, well, come out and, have a drink with me and Peaches. We're going to the baseball game, but we're free before the baseball game, and then after, and then we kind of don't have to be home at a certain time tomorrow so we can hang out. And he was flying out the next morning at like 7 in the morning. So I was like, okay, so come out for a drink and like come see me and Peaches since we're, in San Diego. And he's like, nah, I'm with Gary. And I was like, okay. And then he's like, and no Disneyland either. And I was like, okay, alright, well, fine. Whatever. I know I'm not as cool, but Jesus. Little girl bone, right? I was like, fucker, I've been out to visit you twice. Anyways, David L, thank you for the super sticker, and it's a peach. Thank you.
That rift's unstable. We need to hurry.
He didn't ghost me. He was messaging me back. I didn't even know he was in San Diego. He was the one that messaged me. Did you see? Oh, it's off. David L, thank you for the hot dog sticker. Yeah, I didn't know so many people lived in San Diego. It was funny. After the baseball game, me and Peaches went to a bar, and at the bar, Peaches ran into one of his old friends. And so he was like, oh my god, forever. And so it was cool. And the hotel was nice. We stayed at the Hard Rock. And it was a really nice room. It was right next to the ballpark. And we had, lunch, I guess, at the cafe after. It was really nice. And we went to Old Town San Diego. And then we went to the Mission. And I had never been to that Mission before. So it was really, really nice. It was a great trip. I'm sad we didn't get to see Drunk, but I get it. It is what it is. But yeah, go give him shit. Go say, I don't know, what should we all say to Drunk? Like, how dare you not go to Disneyland? I don't know, something like that. Just go. It's funny because when I tell people to go bother Drunk, I instantly get a text and he's just like, people are spamming, can you tell them I've talked to you? It's so funny. But, anyways, yeah.
Thank you for coming
David,
to our
aid.
aid.
That was for people.
Some sort of energy surge erupted from the rift and hit us.
Are you on?
We lost main power, sensors,
Stop
everything.
Me, but thank you for the super
if you
chat.
arrived a few minutes later,
let's see.
it would have been over for all of us. Needless to say, any assistance you can offer us now will be greatly appreciated.
But yeah, I am going to
Truly
go inside
the blessings of Lucar.
and take a shower and stop dying because it's so hot in here in this full body. It's from head to toe, guys. Like, look at that. My fucking feet are even in this thing. So, yeah, I'm gonna go inside. I'm gonna take a shower. I'm gonna throw this in the washing machine. And, yeah, but and I'm gonna get ready for the Jack show. Jack, Reacher, thank you for it. Good.
That's one less rift to worry about. Let's regroup with Kumar.
Warnings on these. Oh, well, thank you for the super chat. Thank you for the compliment,
Bad
but I
news,
don't
I'm
really know
afraid.
what good
Klingons are approaching our position.
Anna has green feet. I know, it's like I'm an alien. I really like this costume. Like, this bodysuit is actually really nice. I like wearing bodysuits. It's cool. It's so simple, and you don't have to worry about losing anything. The only thing is, like, there's no pockets. And you just, honestly, all you really have to do is get shoes. But I really like it. David, I'll thank you for the super chat. Just reviewing you a bit. Love you. Oh, well, thank you. Also, everyone, Jack show is tonight on Cecil's channel. You should wear it every day. If I had a channel that was like rogue, I don't know. When I was about rogue, I probably would wear it for every video. You need to have water just about it all the time. Well, this is just, you know. I'm gonna wear this costume on the next one. Where the heck is Halsey? Halsey's never so yeah. Jack tonight, Cecil's channel. Anyways. Anna now identifies as Danish. No, my great-grandmother was from Denmark. She's the one that I'm dating. And, so, mother's side of the family, father's side of the family. That's why I tell everyone, guys, have Viking. That's where this nose is from. This is not a Portuguese nose, this is a Danish nose. Scandinavian nose. Lang Kazan, thank you so much. You're cool and always watching the videos. Oh, I appreciate that. Alright. Now before I die, I'm really gonna go. So everyone, thank you so much for watching Jack Show. Go subscribe to my art channel. I do streams over there almost every single day. I actually might do another one today. And yeah, so until next time, everyone, I hope you all have a great rest of your day or your evening. Thank you so much for being here. You guys are all wonderful. And until next time, of course, we are really, really, really going to meet. Bye, everyone.
I said, oh, what a great actress. Oh! Ray Coggin? She has to continue to take him up for training.
What's up, all the Ocean Stories fans? Anna also knows what Star Wars Bowl. Today, once again, be talking about this whole Cowboy Bebop Netflix adaptation disaster. So, I've done a few videos about how the actress that's playing Faye Valentine has caused so much controversy with a little publicity stunt video, basically trashing fans, which is never a good idea. Now, just at face value, this is what the anime characters look like, and this is what they look like in the Netflix adaptation. Yeah, not surprising based on the way it does things. But then there's other news about the creator of Cowboy Bebop saying this. That's right. I read the initial concept and provided my opinions, but I'm not sure if they will be reflected in the final product. And then it goes down in a few minutes down here. I have no choice but to pray and hope that it will turn out good. Also, Cowboy Bebop, I don't have any right to stop it. Those rights are in the hands of Sunrise. So if you have a complaint, please send it to them. So basically, this is his way of disavowing this shit show, right? Because that's exactly what it is. It's a shit show. I mean, none of these characters are right for the parts. I mean,
I think that would
like, come on, like, this looks nothing like Faye Valentine. Her attitude is absolutely terrible. She's already shitting on the fans. This actor, he actually came out. John Cho discussed his theories of inevitable anime comparisons for live-action Cowboy Bebop. Now, he played Sulu in J.J. Abrams' version of Star Trek. Now, if you guys have been following my channel for a long time, you guys know how I feel about J.J. Trek movies as a huge Star Trek fan myself. But one thing I will say about those movies is the casting was pretty fucking good. I think everyone that was cast in those J.J. Abrams Trek movies did a good job, including John. I think from what I have seen, and I haven't seen everything he's in, but from what I have seen, I think he's a pretty good actor. Now, let's take a look at the difference, because we've all seen the video of this chick. So, before I read this to you, remember that, and compared to the way John responds to possible fan backlash, right? Okay, so what he says right here. The biggest fear that I had was I was too old. I know people were going to have issues with my age, and I have to get over it. I was going to look different than a 25-year-old guy. At some point, the opportunity is yes or no. Do you want to do it? And I did want to do it. So I wasn't going to stop myself from doing it. Adding that, he actively wanted to not create a scene-by-scene remake, but was adamant in getting the original composer of the anime, Yoko Kanno, to handle scoring the series. I didn't think the show should go forward without her involvement. She is too integral to the show. Our iteration minus her would suffer too much. Also admitting that he wasn't familiar with Cowboy Bebop, but became immersed in the anime after reading the script for the first episode of the live-action adaptation, calling it tremendous. The live-action Cowboy Bebop series starring John Cho is set to hit Netflix November 19th. So, just from reading this little segment from an interview, like, okay, it is fucking light years different than the way that this bitch handled it. Like, she just came off insulting the fans, taking everything personally. All people said was, hey, this costume doesn't look like Faye Valentine's costume. And she took that as, I don't look like Faye Valentine, and made it all about herself and her body and started insulting the fans.
Looks like there was
what does he say? Oh, I think that they're going to complain that I'm too old, which I am. But I really want to play this character, so I'm going to do it. And then he admits that he wasn't a fan of the anime.
Lead the way.
And then, after reading the script, got into the anime, and he's like, dude, we gotta get the composer. Because, you know, the music for this show is absolutely awesome. So he's doing what a fan would do for the show. We can tell who the fan is versus who isn't the fan. Why am I not surprised? Now, as I was doing my research, I came across this article, which is an interview with John Cho, and it says, just from the headline, John Cho trained like a superhero for Cowboy Bebop, the anime classic remake. Now, one thing I want to focus on here, because he's going to make this point, is he talks a little bit, once you get into the question about, you know, obviously this is about his workout and how he got in shape for the role, as you can see in this picture. And listen to this first question. At the time, you talked about the superhero movies, and you said you wouldn't really want to do a diet and work out like crazy for a part like that. I get the sense that there was probably some dieting and working out. And obviously he laughs. Yes, the regimen was to become functionally athletic rather than show horse athletic. I think there was a punch at Marvel guys. But yeah, I had to watch what I ate. I did have to take my shirt off in the first episode, which was really stressful. Okay, now this is a big point I want to make, because this is what Hollywood has been doing over and over and over again. So, the guy, while all of the men, you know, work out, get in shape, to get yoked, they look like Jason Momoa and Aquaman, they look like Chris Hemsworth and Thor. Heck, what's his name? Chris Pratt went from this to that to be in a freaking Marvel movie. Okay, so the men change their bodies for the show. I'm assuming for the female and male gays. But heaven forbid you have a female character actually look feminine or look like the feminine character they're playing. Oh God, clutch your pearls. No. Women cannot look sexy. Women cannot have male gaze. Male gaze bad. But when it's a man, they're over here taking off their shirt. They're getting yoked. They're hitting the gym, you know, lifting weights and drinking shakes. Well, all of that. That's okay, but no! Heaven forbid you show a woman's ankle. Heaven forbid! Hey, she has some cleavage. Oh my gosh, she was wearing makeup. How terrible. Oh my gosh, her hair was actually done. Her stylist actually curled her hair. Or they straightened it. Oh my god. Oh, there was a butt shot. How fucking terrible.
There?
The male gaze must die. Men are sexist, misogynistic man babies. Right! But all the women, hey ladies, hey look at him. He's taking off his shirt. Very first episode. Could you imagine if it was the chick taking off her shirt? You wouldn't have seen it. It's one of those shots where like the camera just crops it like very cleverly, just like the top of her shoulders, or like the shot like from the back, so we know that like she's not wearing a shirt because you can see behind all of that. That's bad, right? That's bad. The dude just walking around shirtless. Oh my god. That's completely fine. Nobody's gonna clutch their pearls after that. It's funny how hypocritical these people are in Hollywood. Oh, male gaze bad. Like this lady said, oh my god, I'm sorry, I don't have double E's in a human face. It's like, but I've got no job, so that's okay, you know, right? She's gonna, you know, body shame an animated character that she is getting paid money to play. But she is willing to physically alter herself in real life. It's strange the way that shit works, right? It's strange how this entire thing is, everything in Hollywood with this is just hypocritical nonsense. It's like the whole not smiling thing. It's like, I get it, sometimes you need to have a poster that looks serious, but it's not bad if a woman smiles. It's not bad if a man smiles. Honestly, I think like the smirk work looks, you know, where they kind of got like a smile, like a sly little smirk up, and it's like, ooh, what are they thinking? What's going on here? I mean, the Mona Lisa works it. Why can't, you know, you do that on a poster? I don't know. Because right now, I mean, this isn't very compelling. Sorry. But all this has done has made me respect the creator even more. And it's made me respect John even more. Props to John. And I'll link this interview in the description if you guys want to read it fully. I might do a live stream where I read through it a little bit later on today. But everyone, let me know what you think about all of this in the comment section below. If you like this video, smash the like button. If you didn't like this video, that's okay. Thank you so much for watching this one. If you're not subscribed yet, maybe take a minute, smash the subscribe button, ring the bell for notifications. Make sure that the notifications is set to all though, because if it is set to personalized, you are not going to get any notifications, so just be aware of that. And everyone, once again, thank you so much for watching. I hope you all have a great rest of your day, morning, evening, afternoon, wherever you are in the world. And may the force be with you, because we are really, really, really bye, everyone. Hey, everyone, thank you so much again for watching my channel. If you guys are sick of YouTube videos, but still want to hear my content, check me out over on Odyssey. Again, same name, that Star Wars World. My channel is named over there, so you can still get all of my content. And if you guys like this video, go ahead and check out my Etsy where I sell prints of my artwork. And last but not least, if you haven't already, please subscribe over to my channel. I live stream there almost every single day. So if you like to watch it live and see stuff like that, go over there and check it out. Thank you.
They're down to a few ships. Keep up the pressure.
Today, we're ironically going to be talking about political because there has been a complete shit show that went down on Twitter between a very popular political news site that a lot of videos have been using as resources for the new Amazon North television show, because apparently the OneRoom.net has gotten some kind of special access to the pre-production and the filming of the show, and because they have been the one that have been releasing all of the new information about the Lord of the Rings Amazon television show. Now, ironically, I haven't been making very much content on my channel because I got inspired. I'm a huge Lord of the Rings fan. I was a little kid when Lord of the Rings was coming out. I remember just how packed the theater was when Return of the King came out, and I mean, me and my parents were almost basically very and I've been making a lot of content because I've been getting excited and hyped up for Lord of the Rings because I actually haven't been following this content. So I've actually been working on if you guys want to see any of those progress pictures or time-lapse videos, they're up on my art Instagram. And so I just got the inspiration to paint Arwen.
Well
and,
fought.
you know, it's
Well
still work in progress because it's an oil painting
Modern's
and
on
it'll take an incredibly long time to dry. And so while I usually work on at least 5 paintings at a time, because again, working in oils is a very time-consuming as well as slow process, and so I started painting Galadriel as well, and again, this is still a work in progress. So I'm a pretty big Lord of the Rings fan. I've been hyped up about it because I know it's coming, but I wanted to be surprised about this because Lord of the Rings is one of those franchises that I actually still had hope for until all of this went down.
Well
so,
fought. Modern's
what's
on
going to happen in this video is I'm going to go through and I'm going to show you all of the tweets from the OneRing.net Twitter account that started all of this. And then the way that they responded to people that asked them pretty reasonable, simple questions in respectful ways, how they responded and basically turned into the thing that we've seen happen with all shill medias is, oh my gosh, we make a ridiculous statement and people question us with like reasonable questions and arguments and, you know, points with references to source material. What are they? Hobos and racists. So I'm going to show you guys, this is going to be kind of a long video because I'm going to go through, I'm going to show you all of the tweets. And then I'm going to get into what happened with Nerderotics and just some guy and how they basically sent the OneRing.net running for the hills with, you know, their knowledge and facts and reason. So strap in your seatbelts because I am going to dive right into this right now. So here's the tweet from the OneRing.net that started all of this. Listen, we've been dealing with homophobic comments for decades and it's still wrong. Notice how they say we've been dealing with homophobic comments for decades and it's still wrong. Take a note because that's going to be important later. Whatever toxic arguments are being said now about Lord of the Rings fandom and adaptations is still the same trash that said Ian McKellen was the worst affront to Tolkien's legacy ever. #pride. They continue. Cognate, respectful debate on Tolkien is always welcome, but homophobic, racist, misogynistic trash is always cause for banning. It's not what Tolkien fandom is, wants, or welcomes. We used to be able to ban in the era of message boards and IRC, but in the era of social media, the platforms can't keep toxicity out of their community. We can mute and block, but that's only for this account's feed. Twitter is not a community simply because it lacks anti-troll tools. Nasty people still show up in replies because their toxic friend subtweeted us. If you still think Ian McKellen is the worst and that Catholic Tolkien would have never approved, I beg you to read more of Tolkien's books and letters. He was woke! Stood against hate, embraced all cultures in life and fiction. It's why his books are translated in every language. If you think Ian McKellen gets a pass, but whatever Amazon is doing is a disgrace to Tolkien, please think more about your personal bias before tweeting. Our block button is very active, and if you retweet enable toxic voices in the name of free speech, you do not love Tolkien. #Pride gave us some of the greatest performances beyond all expectations. Now, when I saw this, I thought it was interesting because they said specifically, we've been dealing with homophobic comments for decades and it's still wrong. Now, when you are on the internet, you are expecting millions, because there's millions of people on Twitter, right? You're expecting all of these strangers to take your word for it. Now, I know from personal experience, you can't expect random strangers, especially on the internet, to take your word for anything. You have to provide receipts for everything. So I saw this and thought, well, since you've been getting this for decades, You probably have some evidence of this, right? So I said, please provide receipts to back up these accusations, because if there are people that are going around making toxic arguments, that are being homophobic, that are just basically the scum of the freaking universe, show that. Expose these fucking assholes. Because in my experience in the Lord of the Ring fandom, I have never once experienced that. I remember watching Lord of the Rings in the theaters when I was a child. I was a very young child when Lord of the Rings came out, and there was none of that. Nobody was worried about Ian McKellen being gay. He was the best actor. He is freaking Gandalf the Grey, then later Gandalf the White. Nobody cared. At least from my experience, nobody was concerned what the actor's love life was like outside of Lord of the Rings. It was of no interest to anyone that I knew, at least. But, I mean, I cared more about the characters and the storytelling and the world building. I don't know what the heck other weirdos were thinking of, but if this is going on, then expose it, especially if it's been going on to the runring.net, since they said, we've been dealing with homophobic comments for decades. I didn't think this was going to be a controversial tweet. Little was I wrong, so I had to go and explain myself further. And I said, for those that don't understand, the One Ring account stated they've been dealing with homophobic comments for decades. I asked if they could please provide receipts of that. If it's been going on for decades, I'd expect them to have some. And I even had to highlight this here for them. And of course, the weirdos lost their minds. So here is a tweet thread that Lady Gravemaster was able to catch in a screenshot, because naturally what happens when a weirdo loses their mind on the internet and people call them out and say, hey, you sound pretty fucking insane. They go and they block everyone, or they privatize their tweets, which is of course what happens with all these weirdos. It's one of those things where if you're gonna cause shit on the internet, at least have the fucking